James, have a seat. Good to see you.
Hey, good to see you too.
Good to see you. You were over there taking a nap, weren't you?
Oh no, I was watching the sports center.
I thought you might be taking a nap after that game back on Monday night. Yeah. 6 overtimes. You're probably still tired after that game.
A little bit actually. Catch up with some sleep.
Well, mentally and physically both. That's a tough one to get over, isn't it?
Yes, it was. It was exciting though. Very exciting.
Had to be exciting. You been through one like that before?
Never in my life have I ever went over 2 overtimes actually.
6 overtimes at McDowell. Where is McDowell? You probably don't even know now. Probably trying to figure
Marion, in the mountains somewhere.
Kind of go up the hills in the mountains, about an hour and a half away from over here.
Yes.
43 points that night. Did any inclination, any idea at all going into that game you might be around the 43-point number that night?
I had no idea. Teammates helped me out. They played zone most of the game, so teammates were able to give me the ball and opportunities where I could capitalize.
That sounds like a good point to jump into next. 10 threes by you that night.
Yes.
30 points outside the arc.
My best shooting night I've probably ever had.
It's kind of a good one to go out on as far as the high school goes, right? Senior year and going out with that game?
Yeah, broke 2 records that night for Ragsdale, 43 points and 10 threes.
So the 43 points school record, I guess?
Yes.
Wow. Do you know whose record you broke by chance? Any idea?
Brian Rouse, who left.
Oh, yeah, gotcha. So, man, that's a recent record, too, then.
Yes.
That's pretty crazy. That's knocking, and that's almost saying to Brian, hey, your record no longer exists. I put you into the back category now, into the back box. That's interesting. Wow, Brian Rouse. We've seen Brian play quite a bit the past couple of years. Man, 43 points, and again, 6 overtimes. Now, you fouled out in the last overtime period, right?
The 5th overtime.
In the 5th one, the next to last overtime period. What happened then? How did you foul out of the game? What kind of play? Was it a close play?
Yeah, it was 5 seconds left. I tried to take the basket, put us up by 2, and got called for a charge.
Oh man, that had to make you sick right there. The block charge call, and that's how you leave the game. Oh man, that's crazy. What about the guy on their team? I think maybe his last name might have been Miller. I might have had a hyphenated last name, but that guy had like 48 points.
Yeah, he was a great player. Had a nice shot. Could pull from deep, very deep. Had nice handles also.
Did you cover him? You cover each other?
I guarded him the last couple of overtime periods that I was able to play, but as him guarding me, they played zone, so he didn't really guard me.
And that zone was exactly what you were looking for that night.
Yes.
Wow. Have you been practicing that three-pointer quite a bit lately? It's just always there for you?
Always there for me.
That's good stuff. Coach Shoemaker and the coaching staff, how did they handle that game as far as that night goes to you guys? I mean, you're going into these overtimes, and sometimes the coach will get a little bit adamant. We got to get this game over with, guys. We can beat you. But how did they what was their activity like? What was their demeanor like that night?
They were just enjoying the moment also, just telling us let's finish it here. And kept happening over and over, and we couldn't finish it, but they were very encouraging.
What was that McDowell crowd like? Were they really behind that team and cheering those guys on?
Yes, they were. It was actually more of the community came out and watched, and it was more of elderly people than the student section, actually.
A lot of an older crowd then.
Yes.
And the McDowell must have gotten taxed in that game, because I think they got beat last night.
By
they
Watauga.
Got knocked out. Yeah, by Watauga, which is kind of crazy because you put all those things together. Watauga beats McDowell. If you know what they used to say, if this guy beat this guy, this guy beat this guy. But if you guys would have knocked off McDowell in that overtime, number 7 maybe, if you guys would have won at number 6, and then you guys would have beaten, I guess, Watauga, then you guys would have been playing Page.
Yes.
Wow, makes for an interesting thought, doesn't it?
Yes, we actually played Page over the summer in Jamborees a couple times. They beat us bad one time, but the second time we actually only lost by 4 of them.
Played them a close game?
Yes.
Played them a very close game.
So I would have looked forward to playing them.
Big challenge. Watauga comes in like about 19-9 when they take on Page tomorrow night. I'm sure Page will be heavily favored in that game. You get these playoffs, so you cannot take anything for granted. Given night, anything crazy can happen, because who would have ever dreamed about 6 overtimes?
6 overtime game.
Talk about the help you got from your teammates that night.
Oh, actually, a lot of us, the 3 seniors that played, Malcolm Burke had a career game, 20 points, 11 rebounds. Daniel had a triple-double with a lot of rebounds.
He had a lot of assists, too, from what I heard. Man, was he driving and dishing out to you that night, son?
Yes.
He's pretty good at that. Yeah.
He is. Very crafty.
Wow. So, man, he must have had about, 15 assists maybe?
15.
At least 10.
At least 15.
Gosh. Where does this rank among all the games you played in basketball over the years? I mean, this has to be the game.
Number one, yes, number one. 6 overtimes, great scoring night. Great night.
Got some video, got some photos, got a lot of memories of this?
I'm trying to get some videos to watch it over and over again. It'd be a great story to tell.
How much media attention have you gotten out of this? I mean, talk about the different papers you may have talked to, or any TV stations, even radio people.
I had an interview with Greensboro News and Record, Mr. Wooten.
Eddie Wooten, right?
Yes, he interviewed me 2 days ago.
Right.
And I saw that on the computer this morning. That's about it, though.
I expect as time goes on, there'll probably be more. I would think that the Jamestown News have to send somebody out to get this thing in there for next week's edition, for sure. What are you doing now? I mean, it's over, and you're trying to, I guess, compartmentalize this now, kind of sort it all out. How do you put all this in a certain compartment and get on with the rest of your basketball career?
I may try to play this spring in AAU ball, and then try to get a couple more offers or looks, and then see what happens from there.
What is looking like the options right now, college-wise?
I have interest from a lot of Division III colleges. I really want to go to Gardner-Webb and possibly walk on there.
That's not bad. That's not bad. That's Division I, though,
Division
right?
I, yeah.
Wow.
That would be my dream to play.
If you do the walk-on, go to Gardner-Webb, have you been in contact with those guys?
Slightly. I've emailed the coach a couple times, but that's about it.
I think we've had some guys from around here playing Gardner-Webb. Not all the names come back to me right now, but have you visited there, I guess?
I'm going to visit very soon.
Very soon?
Very soon.
Too late to check out a game. I'm sure their season's, well, who knows, it might still be going on.
I think they're tournament weekend this weekend. So.
I mean, throw it out there for me, because you may know this better than I do. Are they in the Big South? Which conference are they in?
Yes, I think they are in the Big South.
That's what I was thinking, too. High Point,
yes,
Campbell, and all those others. Radford, Asheville, those schools in the Big South. What have you learned over the past years at Ragsdale? I mean, this whole thing's done now, and you finished on a real wild note with 6 overtimes back on Monday. What have you learned about basketball? What have you learned about yourself playing at Ragsdale?
What I've learned. It's been a great experience. I've actually met new people, learned how to work around certain situations in basketball, and make certain plays in certain times of the game. I've really grown as a person and a player.
Have you learned to spell Kanakanui? If you can spell that going out, you've done okay for yourself.
Yes.
Yeah.
Me and him have really grown the last couple of years. We from 7th grade on.
Some good experiences.
Yeah.
Some good teams back in middle school. Did you guys go to Jamestown Middle School?
Yes, both of us did.
How were the teams over there?
We were pretty decent. Couple like 500 records.
I would say Ragsdale as a team this year might have caught some of us a little off guard, because it seems like this year you guys may have had more success than some of us might have even been suspecting.
Yes, I was actually talking to one of my teachers that said we actually brought the roar back to Ragsdale this year.
Pretty good, huh? Yeah.
Yeah.
I can give you one night when I know it came back, and no diss toward Nick, but that night when you guys beat Northwest,
yes,
that was just a crazy. I can still see T.J. Parker going crazy first part of that game. Kanakanui making all kinds of crazy passes,
yes,
yourself out on that right wing, getting the job done. That was just one wild night. You not only beat Northwest that night, you guys pretty much put them away by 20 plus.
We did. That was a great game. They had a couple guys step up, like T.J. Parker and Justin Dillard and
the other wide receiver football guy.
Oh, Tevin Quick. Yes.
Yeah, Mr. Quick stepped up. Haven't seen his name much lately. He's still contributing, I guess.
Yes.
Haven't seen him much. Hadn't seen TJ. The names I saw lately have been James Stepp, Daniel Kanakanui, and also Malcolm Burke. I can mention you three guys,
three
seniors in that
seniors.
game back on Monday.
Yes.
How about the conference tournament? I know it didn't completely go to suit you, but were you guys fairly motivated coming out of that conference tournament?
We were, because we felt like we didn't play our best that first game against East Forsyth, so we had some momentum coming off of that to play better in the first round of playoffs.
Did that final of the tournament kind of surprise you a little bit? I mean, Northwest beats East Forsyth.
It did. We were thinking East Forsyth was going to beat them pretty badly.
East Forsyth at one time in that conference seemed to be the giant killer this
Yes.
year, but then toward the end, Northwest beat them twice in that same week.
Yes, that was very, very shocking and mind-blowing.
Again, take us back and talk a little bit about Monday, though. Take back to the beginning of that game. How did that game start out when you guys were up at McDowell?
It started out, we actually went up early, 11-2, I think, and then they came trailing back, and Miller, he actually started. First couple quarters, he wasn't really.
Did both of you guys get hotter in the second half than the first
did,
half?
yes. Yeah. We actually like going back and forth for a while there in the
it was like a two-man game between you and Mr. Miller then.
Yes.
Was it anything at all? I wrote this down to ask you about this. Was it anything at all like the game last night with NC State and North Carolina, where you had Marcus Page, T.J. Warren both going back and forth?
It was very similar to that. Very similar.
It would have been, yeah.
Yes.
Because Page 35 and Warren 36, and you had 43 and Miller had 48. It seemed like it would have been a similar battle. That game went one overtime. There's no way they could top what you guys did Monday night, though.
No way. 6 overtimes.
Do you, watching basketball as a kid over the years, and even as a young man over the years, do you remember any other games quite like this?
The Syracuse, who they played? Georgetown? Syracuse.
First of the Big East tournament that year.
Yes.
Yeah, that was almost like maybe a play-in game even.
Yes.
It was crazy. I remember a couple years ago too, when Saturday night I was driving from somewhere. I picked up the Wake Forest North Carolina game, and for some, I think it might have been Chris Paul's time at Wake Forest, had about a 6 or 5 overtime game there one night. But you just don't see that often.
No, you do not.
Don't at all. Background from your family. I mean, you come from a basketball family growing up. Was that what got you in gear doing this basketball?
My mother played basketball at Northwest.
Did she really?
Yes.
Wow, that's taking us back a few years. That's pretty good stuff.
And my dad was actually a football player.
Really? Where did he go to school?
Ben L. Smith High School.
So your family's all local then?
Yes.
So your dad's a Ben L. Smith High School football player.
Yes.
What position did he play back?
He was running back, actually.
He must have been a pretty good one too then, I would think.
He was.
I would thought of that today too. You got to step up your game when you get with the James Stepp family. Your mother, what was her maiden name?
Jordan. Carolyn Jordan.
Karen Jordan. So she played basketball at Northwest back in the day. How many years ago? What probably is that going back? About 20 years or so?
About 20 years.
Wow. So you do got some basketball blood in the family.
Yes.
Was it always basketball for you, or were you also a football man?
I actually played football at the local recreation center, Trotter Center, and
Trotter Tigers.
Yes.
Gotcha.
And also,
so you've always been a Tiger.
Yes.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And I also played baseball when I was younger too.
But when did basketball become the sole sport for you?
Around middle school, 7th grade, just wanted to play basketball, and presented itself to me as my best sport.
What have you learned from Coach Shoemaker? I asked the same question to Nick Powell about Coach Revis at Northwest. What have you learned from Coach Shoemaker at Ragsdale? Because this team has stayed together too. You guys have had some ups, had some downs, and kind of finished with an up in a very big game back on Monday. What have you learned from this coaching staff?
Learned how to really develop into the point guard role. He brought me up freshman year to learn behind senior Benaiah Wise, and that really helped me out, and gave me like showed me what to do my sophomore year starting as point guard.
Benaiah Wise, pretty good point guard back in his day. Remember those brothers like it was yesterday, Benaiah and Aaron Wise, the Wise brothers. Because Aaron, I think, was at Grimsley for the most part, and then Benaiah might have been there one year that went to over to Ragsdale. Remember their dad? Talk about a dad that followed his sons. Mr. Wise, he would send me information about those guys all the time. Just good little ball players, the Wise brothers. And kept getting better and better. You probably had to learn something too at point guard, playing for Coach Shoemaker and the coaching staff, is patience. If you see another guy on your team having a big game, maybe you only had like 4, 6, maybe 8 points that night, you got to be patient. You never know when your big night's going to come. Point guard's got to be patient. You got to be prepared to do it other ways with assist and defense too. I'm sure that probably came into mind.
It did. Yes, sir.
What do you think was your best assist game this year?
Was probably one of the Southwest games. Probably one of the Southwest games. Daniel stepped up very well, and T.J. Parker also stepped up.
You know, you think about that deal with Kanakanui. Sometimes he takes some pressure off you as a point guard because he handles the ball quite a bit too.
Very well.
I think he was talking to us after the game you had against Northwest. He's almost like a point forward in some ways at times. Yeah.
Very crafty, can handle the ball.
He's pretty smooth too, Coach. They're going to list you as a PG point guard, but with him handling the ball so much, that kind of allows you to kind of become a little drifter to the side, wide open shooting guard.
Yes, that really helped me find open shots while he distributed the ball very well.
Graduation day coming up, I guess, sometime in early June. Is everything falling into place for that? You ready to go? I mean, get the stuff done?
I am ready.
Was it tough? I asked Nick about this. Tough to get that uniform up when you had to turn the uniforms in?
It was very, very hard. Played varsity 3 years, JV freshman year. Very hard to go with the jersey.
What about the uniform number?
11.
11, that's one you'll take with you forever, huh?
Yes.
And you said you watched that State Carolina game last night. Some of your impressions on that game, just watching how that game happened last
It was
night.
exciting. I actually thought State was going to pull it out in the end, but Marcus Page is a great player.
Do you watch those point guards when you're watching the other teams play?
Yes.
Give me your impressions of Tyler Lewis. I always ask people about
Tyler Lewis is a great point guard, pure point guard, can pass, can score when he has to, but great finding his teammates open. I think he is leading the ACC in assists turnover.
He's got to be getting close because I know he had 11 assists and very few turnovers against Virginia Tech on Saturday. Had about 6 assists last night, and probably didn't turn the ball over too much last night because that game was so close. What about the Tar Heel point? I guess it's Nate Britt's probably running the show. Then Marcus Page runs it some too. Yeah. What about those guys?
I think they're great point guards too. They can score a little bit better, but they're also great pure point guards. Also,
you learn a lot watching those guys.
Yes.
Do you see yourself when you get to college kind of settling more into that role and maybe not shooting quite as often? Like you had to shoot Monday, you had to shoot to keep your team in the game.
Yeah, I think I could go and develop into that role of point
guard. You got to be in any game. You got to be prepared for both phases of the game, right?
Yes.
Do it both ways. Well, I know we got to get your coach in here, James. It's been a pleasure to have you with us tonight. Shane's Ribshack. Be sure to get your meal, basketball in focus, court report. Anything we can do to help you try to get that college route going, let us know. And keep up the good work.
Okay, thank you.
And congratulations on a great year with Ragsdale.
Thank you.
James Stepp with us. Coach Shoemaker's up next.